General Hospital spoilers tease that the mysterious briefcase Professor Henry Dalton always carries is no longer just a curiosity in General Hospital, it's quickly becoming the epicenter of a dramatic storm, sparking countless theories and setting the stage for one of the most dangerous plot twists Port Charles has ever seen. All this time, Dalton has appeared calm and intellectual, always keeping the briefcase as if it were an extension of his body. No one knows what's inside, even when entering top-secret locations or moving under the covert watch of the WSB. The briefcase has never left his hand, not for a single second. And now, the once ambiguous air is erupting into genuine suspicion. Especially after actor Daniel Goddard, who plays Dalton, confirmed that a truth is about to be revealed, one that will change everything fans thought they knew about the character. In a surprising social media post, Goddard expressed his excitement, saying the briefcase isn't just a regular prop, it's the key to a massive shift in Dalton's entire world. According to Goddard, the briefcase contains a secret so significant that, if discovered, it could not only expose Dalton's true identity but also bring down the entire power structure in Port Charles. That cryptic message sent shockwaves through the fan community and sparked heated debates. Is Dalton really a professor, or is that just a cover for a much deeper, far more dangerous persona that doesn't appear in any public record? Fans began recalling Dalton's odd behavior in past episodes, the way he glanced around before speaking, his obsessive habit of checking the briefcase lock, and his firm refusal to let anyone near it, even Jocelyn, who's secretly investigating him under the guise of a research assistant. The WSB clearly has Dalton on a watch list but lacks enough evidence to act openly, a fact that only adds weight to whatever is hidden in the briefcase. Just as the tension peaks, Goddard adds fuel to the fire with an ominous statement: Dalton didn't come to Port Charles to teach. He came here to carry out a plan no one's ever dared imagine. That revelation led fans to believe the briefcase might be the control hub for an entire covert operation, possibly a database of double agents, the map to a secret facility, or even a high-tech device capable of crippling international security systems. Even more terrifying, Dalton is not acting alone. His cryptic interactions with shadowy figures in recent episodes suggest he's working with a group outside the WSB, possibly a rogue faction or an unidentified international intelligence organization. This poses a threat not just to Port Charles but to the entire security framework that characters like Anna have worked so hard to build. And at the center of it all is Jocelyn, who, through her role as a student and assistant, may become the first person to uncover the truth. But does she have what it takes to survive what she's about to find out? If the briefcase truly is a sort of Pandora's box, opening it could unleash consequences far beyond anything anyone imagined. Daniel Goddard confirmed that the briefcase storyline won't just be a subplot, it will mark the beginning of an entirely new arc, one in which Professor Dalton is no longer just a man, but a force, either a savior or the biggest traitor Port Charles has ever known. And if what Goddard says is true, fans should brace themselves for a shocking narrative twist, where nothing, and no one, is as it seemed. All eyes are now on the briefcase, that small object, in the hands of a man with a shadowy identity. Maybe the missing piece in a global conspiracy, or the trigger for a disaster Port Charles will never be prepared for. Jocelyn and Vaughn are no longer just curious students or harmless academic assistants. They've officially entered the danger zone, a place where every move could be fatal, where truth isn't knowledge, but a weapon. After days of silent surveillance, private investigations, and gathering clues from every cryptic exchange involving Professor Dalton, the two have uncovered one of the most explosive revelations in Port Charles history. Inside Dalton's mysterious briefcase is a deadly weapon, one designed to kill without leaving a trace. The battle Jocelyn and Vaughn are about to face is no longer an academic challenge or a battle of young minds. It's a race for survival against a global-scale conspiracy. And Professor Dalton, once thought of as an eccentric but harmless character, has now been confirmed to have ties with underground, non-governmental organizations operating outside the law. It's no coincidence that the WSB has been quietly watching him. It's no accident that the lab he frequents has the highest level of encrypted access in the region. And it's certainly not by chance that the briefcase has never been opened, not even in secure zones. Vaughn was the first to notice an anomaly in the signal patterns Dalton used to access the lab. With his background in cybersecurity, he decoded a strange encryption, revealing a hidden file deep in the system. Inside was the biochemical blueprint of a compound capable of halting human biological functions within minutes of exposure, and completely untraceable afterward. This isn't just a biological weapon. It's invisible death. Jocelyn, who had been suspicious of Dalton from the beginning, is now more determined than ever. She knows. If this substance is taken out of Port Charles, or if it falls into the wrong hands, the consequences will be catastrophic. But she also understands that getting closer to the truth means putting her life directly in harm's way. Dalton is no longer just a suspect. He holds enough power to make even the WSB cautious. And now, as Jocelyn and Vaughn get dangerously close to his biggest secret, they too become targets, ones that must be eliminated before the truth is exposed. The silent investigation is over. A new covert war has begun, between two brave young people willing to face annihilation, and a man cloaked in knowledge, title, and a polished facade. Jocelyn and Vaughn can't afford to hesitate. They must bring the evidence to light, force Dalton to reveal himself, and protect themselves from the forces quietly closing in. The real shock isn't just that a murder weapon has been confirmed. The real shock is that two young people dared to confront it, without the backing of any system. And as Port Charles reels from the unfolding events, in the shadows, a battle of wits and survival begins, where Dalton's briefcase is no longer a symbol of mystery, but a symbol of death. And Jocelyn and Vaughn will be the ones to determine whether the truth is finally brought into the light, or buried forever beneath Professor Dalton's powerful disguise. Professor Henry Dalton is no longer a shadowy side character in the academic life of Port Charles. He is slowly becoming the center of a hidden storm. A crucial link connecting the concealed past of the WSB and a new generation rising with a plethora of contradictions, lies, and secrets. But what truly makes this story unsettling is the deep, ambiguous connection between Dalton and Emma, the young woman who once seemed to embody intelligence and virtue, but is now gradually revealed to have a darker past than anyone could have imagined. This bond is pushing Jocelyn into a completely new darkness, where she must not only face dangers from external forces, but also accept a brutal truth. The friend she once called her closest companion could very well be part of a decades-long conspiracy, supported and nurtured by the world's most powerful unseen hands. As Jocelyn and Vaughn begin to uncover more about Dalton's mysterious briefcase, they have no idea that what they are about to discover involves much more than just a piece of technology or a research project. Inside the briefcase lies not only classified data on a biological weapon but also ultra-secret files containing training records for young spies, including detailed reports on an individual identified by a code number, who had undergone the WSB's strict and dangerous training program from the age of 15, and that person's final designation was Emma. Initially hesitant, Jocelyn can no longer ignore the signs. Old memories flood back, times when Emma disappeared without explanation, her odd reactions to seemingly minor situations, her extraordinary analytical skills, and, most notably, the way Emma always seemed to know everything, as if she had never truly been one of them. Now, all these fragments connect into a coherent chain of logic. Emma was trained not just to be an exemplary citizen, but to be a tool, an undercover agent, part of a plan to create a new generation of intelligence operatives capable of adapting seamlessly to modern society, concealing their identities, and devoid of emotional attachments. Dalton was the one who supervised the entire process. He wrote the reports, devised the psychological challenges, designed the extreme tests, and evaluated Emma's ability to manipulate others. Their relationship was more than just teacher and student. It was the bond between creator and created. When Dalton returns to Port Charles, no one expects that he has not come just to teach. He is here to test his product, to ensure that Emma is still on course. Or perhaps to activate a new phase in a mission that was long ago programmed. And this is what drives Jocelyn into a darkness she never saw coming. She is trying to protect Port Charles from a threat. But at the same time, she is fighting to hold on to her own belief in what's real. Her once best friend, who shared everything with her, is now at the center of a controlling machine. What's even more painful is that Jocelyn no longer knows if all the memories, all the friendships, all the moments she once believed in were ever real, or if they were just part of an emotional simulation Emma was trained to master. As these truths begin to emerge, Jocelyn realizes she is not only fighting to stop a biological weapon, but also facing a system designed to conceal, control, and eliminate any threats to it, even if that threat comes from a brave young woman seeking justice. Jocelyn's nights are filled with nightmares, her meals tasteless, and the reflection in the mirror feels heavier. She is no longer the carefree girl she once was. She is transforming, becoming an unwilling warrior in a battle where the lines between right and wrong, friend and foe, have long been blurred. Amidst this whirlwind, Emma remains eerily calm. She neither denies nor confirms anything, says nothing, but the look in her eyes, the subtle shifts in her expression, now convey a clear message to Jocelyn: I know what you're doing. And I've been trained to stop you. In the silence, Jocelyn understands that she has little time left. She must bring the truth to light. She must expose the insane past buried under encrypted files. But most of all, she must prepare herself for one thing, that the upcoming battle won't just be against Dalton or WSB, it may well be the final fight between her and Emma, the girl who was once a friend, but is now the darkness. Jocelyn is slowly being drawn into a vortex of dark conspiracies and unimaginable scheming, to the point where she no longer knows what is real and what is the illusion designed to manipulate and control her. Once a curious, intelligent, and somewhat rebellious student, Jocelyn is now becoming the target of Professor Dalton's experiment, someone she thought she was merely monitoring, but who turns out to have been the one who set everything up to trap her. She doesn't realize that her every step, her encounters with Vaughn, her chance discovery of the mysterious briefcase, all of this is part of a psychological manipulation plan Dalton has quietly orchestrated. From the moment she was invited to assist with research, Jocelyn stepped into an inescapable maze, where everything is being recorded, measured, and evaluated as though she were a specimen in an experiment that is conducted so coldly and perfectly that the victim doesn't even feel they are being tested. And as Jocelyn begins to feel her time, memories, and even her emotions becoming unstable, the madness starts to creep in. She no longer knows if Vaughn is an ally or part of the observation system. His gestures, his comforting words, his timely help now make her doubt everything. Could he also be placed there to monitor her, to record her reactions, to see how she behaves when pushed to the very limits of her mind? The relationship between Jocelyn and Vaughn, once built on trust and cooperation, is now slowly unraveling, not because of arguments, but because of fear. Jocelyn is disappearing, not physically, but in essence. She is no longer herself. The core parts of her are being bent, restructured, and reshaped under the unseen hands of Dalton and his network. If no one stops it, she will no longer be Jocelyn Spencer, the girl Carly once loved, the girl Port Charles once knew. She will become something else entirely, a new product, a version programmed to serve a larger, more brutal, and inhumane plan. And at this moment, Carly senses the change, a deep unease in the heart of a mother who knows her instincts well. She no longer hears her daughter's voice as often. Jocelyn has become distant, evasive. Carly, who once could read her daughter with a glance, now finds herself lost in the emptiness of her gaze. And when she starts investigating, the truth she uncovers triggers a seismic shift, an explosion of realization that renders everything she once knew meaningless. Carly understands more than anyone, when WSB has its hands in it. When people are treated as tools, no boundary is too sacred, not even turning her daughter into an experiment. Carly's rage is not just a burst of anger. It is an explosion from the depths of a mother willing to confront the entire world to reclaim her child. She begins acting in secret, tracing Dalton's communications, collecting evidence from the research sessions, and especially watching Vaughn, who is now someone Carly cannot trust. For Carly, no one is allowed to stand between her and her daughter, and if Vaughn is complicit with Dalton, she will be the first to act. But what Carly doesn't realize is that she is not just facing Dalton. She is entering a battle with a system where every piece of information can be erased, every action she takes is being recorded. And every mistake could lead to Jocelyn's complete disappearance, without a trace. Carly must act fast, decisively, and without hesitation. Because 1 second too late, her daughter may never be the same again, forever. And so, a new battle begins, between an enraged mother and an immoral organization. One side is flesh and blood. The other is an experiment. One side is love. The other is cold power. And at the center of it all is Jocelyn, the young girl being pushed deeper into a chasm she doesn't even know exists. And the only person who can pull her out is Carly. But will Carly reach her in time, or will she have to watch her daughter become something unrecognizable? The answer is being written in the days to come, step by step, breath by breath, choice by choice. Daniel Goddard, the actor portraying Professor Henry Dalton on General Hospital, recently stunned audiences worldwide with a revelation about a significant change coming for Dalton's character, which he describes as unlike anything I've ever portrayed on screen before. In an enigmatic social media post, Goddard sent fans into a frenzy, admitting that a new obsession, deeper, more dangerous, and more personal, is enveloping Dalton in upcoming episodes. No longer the calm, collected professor, Dalton is slowly revealing many layers of masks, and according to Goddard, this is just the tip of the iceberg. In a video post, he shared, "I've read the next part of the script. I can't go into details, but all I can tell you is, Dalton is not just Dalton. And this character is now haunted by what he created." That brief statement was enough to ignite a frenzy in the fan community, especially considering everything viewers have seen so far. The mysterious briefcase, secretive behavior, cryptic exchanges with WSB personnel, and especially the strange connection with Emma, who is also suspected to be at the center of an underground network established many years ago. According to Goddard, Dalton is not just haunted by his own past, he is slowly becoming a victim of the very weapon he once researched, designed, and thought he could control. A character who seemed to be the controller is now beginning to unravel from within, due to the humanity he tried to bury to serve his scientific goals. Goddard describes playing Dalton in this new phase as chilling, saying that there are scenes where I finish filming and have to step outside to catch my breath, because it's so dark. It makes my spine tingle. This further confirms that a shocking twist is being set up in the storyline. Dalton may be at the center of a failed experiment, not because he wasn't skilled enough, but because he underestimated the consequences of manipulating the human mind. According to a backstage leak from an insider, Dalton wasn't just a scientist, he was also the original test subject for an emotional control technology. A technology that was later passed down and developed into the ruthless experiments Emma and Jocelyn may now be the next victims of. If this truth comes to light, it will not only change the way viewers perceive Dalton but will also reshape the entire power structure that is forming around Port Charles. When the manipulator is also the manipulated. When the one who creates is also the one who is created, the story takes on a deeper, more complex layer, where identity is no longer something fixed, but something shaped, twisted, and shattered day by day. Goddard ended his post with a chilling warning, "I can only say that from here on out, every step Dalton takes will no longer be that of a man, but that of a shadow, the shadow of all the mistakes he once tried to hide." And with those words, Daniel Goddard is not only revealing a change in his character, but also laying the groundwork for one of the biggest shocks to hit the screen, when the monster and the victim, the scientist and the experiment, the creator and the created become one.